It makes me very happy. All right. Here we are. We'll give it a second to log in, but welcome everyone. We're back again, 2 in 1 week. Very exciting. And I am here today with Matt Meigs, who is very awesome, very special, and I'm very excited for you to get those questions coming in. Matt is another Huntsville native, very talented city that we have here. We have a lot of talent that comes out of here. And I know that you were very excited. He's got a lot of cool credits, a lot of cool stories. So I'm just going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, and we'll get those questions coming in. Take it away.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Like she said, like Megan said, I am from Huntsville. I was born there, went to AAA, went to Lee High School, did tons of fantasy community theater shows all around. It really helped me figure out that it was my love. I also have a family who loves theater. A lot of you might know them. They're way more famous than I ever will be in Huntsville, Alabama. So, but anyway, so I grew up with a love for it. I took dance classes all around town. Let's see, after Huntsville, I decided to go to college for music theater. Some people do, some people don't. And I really felt like I needed it. I didn't want to jump in at 18, move to New York, you know, all the crazy stuff. So I auditioned at a few programs, and I got into this beautiful little school in North Carolina called Elon University. And I loved my time there. So I spent 4 years, a full bachelor's in fine arts and music theater. At Elon, I had amazing experiences there, met amazing people. And also something really important for me in the summers, I would work every single year. I wouldn't come home to Huntsville. I would work around the country at some regional theater where I could really hone my craft and really have some fun in different parts in, let's see, Rhode Island, St. Louis, also North Carolina once. And meet some really cool people who are already in the business, maybe have amazing credits. So you can see, you know, meet people who, once you move to New York, you already have this amazing group of connections and friends. So I did all that. After I graduated, I moved straight to New York, I think a week after graduation, and which is crazy and scary and all the things. Megan knows. Some bad apartments that I lived in, some great ones, you know, you hop around. Sorry, really quick bio. So I was there for a couple months, and then I booked my first big job out of New York, which was the national tour of Mary Poppins, which was a blast. It was the perfect first job. I always say after college or whenever you move to New York, a tour or a cruise is just a ton of fun. You learn a ton, you see a lot of places, and you make a lot of money. It's a really perfect way to come out of college. So I luckily lucked into that, and I was on tour for 9 months, I think, or 10 months. Came back to New York, did the hustle for a few months, lots of no's, lots of almosts, you know how it goes. And then I booked a show in Vegas. I did Rock of Ages in Las Vegas at the oh no, I'm gonna forget the casino. I promise, I know it. Anyway, I was there for about 6 or 7 months. Then I came back to New York, hustled, and then I booked my first Broadway show, which was Matilda. Stayed in it for a while, and then I moved on to Tuck Everlasting, which was exciting because it was a new Broadway show. It was exciting going through the process, but then it also was exciting because I got to see an opening and a closing of a Broadway show because it closed in 5 weeks. So I had that whole different experience under my belt. Then after that, I worked with Holiday Inn on Broadway. And then I worked with, I booked another tour, Wicked. My lifelong dream is to tour through Huntsville, Alabama, and be one of those cool people which I grew up looking and being so excited about, and I've never done it. But I came to Nashville, so kind of close, with Wicked. And then after that, I worked with Carousel on Broadway, and then quickly segue into Wicked on Broadway. And that is where COVID-19 left off.
Yay. And here we are, COVID.
Here we are.
Oh my gosh. So you and I were talking a little bit before, and you were in rehearsal, and they were like, "Ooh, we might not be doing this." Because that's I guess a crazy call, huh? And so what have you been doing since to not go crazy? Because it's been a few months now.
It has.
Are you trying to stay active? Are you working out at home, dancing, singing? Like what are you doing?
Definitely. You know, I'm one of those people that I need structure. I need something to keep me from going insane if I'm going to be in one place. So I'm definitely working out. I'm trying to find, we luckily live next to a big park because we don't have a yard because I'm in New York City area. And so that helps a lot, getting outside. I've been just like reading a lot, watching a lot of TV shows. I've been teaching myself random skills that have nothing to do with theater because it's what I have in front of me to keep me active and thinking, and keeping in contact with friends. But yeah, it's been hard to do anything artistic right now. So
yeah, it's a tricky world. The first show out of school, you said you landed national tour. How many auditions did you do before? Like, were you one of those lucky ones that they're like, oh yeah, audition and cast?
Oh man, we're all lucky, but I definitely had a ton of auditions that summer. Over the 2 months that I was there, there were some weeks where I auditioned, I don't know, 12 different times. Some weeks just like 5 times. I was always hustling. I was going to any kind of audition at first. That's another thing about the career. You know, where I started out, I was ready for any kind of job. And then slowly, once you get jobs, you kind of narrow down what you think of yourself as and what you want to take. If you want to leave the city, if you want to leave the city for specific things. And so to answer your question, I had a ton of auditions. I had a ton of no's. You know, I auditioned for things that are totally wrong for me that now I would never go in for. So all the things. And then that one happened all in one day. It was, you know, there's some auditions that take multiple callbacks and it's stretched out over a lot of time. And Mary Poppins was in one day. They were kind of in a rush. And so it started out in the morning with, luckily, like 40 or 50 guys, which is a kind of small number. And then by the, 6 hours later, it was down to 3. And then we left and we didn't know until the next day.
Wow, that's amazing though.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some questions rolling in. Beth, hi Beth. She says, oh, I gotta scroll. Hi Matt, the Monroe kiddos have found backstage Broadway vlogs, the favorite quarantine hobby. Oh, that's a fun idea. The house favorite is the Matilda Looks Not Books vlogs. And since it's Ask You Anything, they wanted to ask you to perform the infamous Q&A song from the Matilda vlog. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's pressure. Do you know what that is?
What?
I'm assuming you know.
I watched them as well, and I watched Leslie create them every week. She is a spitfire. She's amazing. I wish I could perform that for you now, but it's been years and I don't remember it.
Oh,
I don't.
I have to Google that.
I feel awful.
No,
I'll have to work on that, Beth.
Yeah. We'll get back to you, Beth. That's brilliant. Denise, hi Denise, says if you could do a high school musical review, which one would you do? Also, hopefully your quarantine birthday was awesome. Yay, miss you.
Thank you, Denise.
Quarantine birthdays.
Quarantine birthdays. It's a new thing. It was great. I Zoomed with my friends. I had a cake, really, what else can you do? What high school musical review? I mean, I have such fond memories from Lee, from all the shows we did. That is such a good question. I don't know. So is it, Megan, do you think it's which one would I do again? Or right now, if I could choose a musical to be in,
let's do both.
High school? Okay. To go back, I mean, I have to say Pippin, my senior year, I had the best people with me, Denise's daughter as my love interest. I had the best time. Pippin's an amazing show. It really made you think, and I think it was a great experience. If I could go back now and do another musical, I mean, how cool would it be to do something crazy like Wicked in a high school? I mean, that's not going to happen for a long time.
Not a long time. Ooh. Maybe one day. Maybe one
Maybe.
day. Hopefully not for a while though.
Right.
Darcy, hi Darcy, says, so grateful you're here for this. Thank you. Number one piece of advice for kids graduating from high school, hoping to work on Broadway or just in the industry, where or how to get started?
Great. There's so much. There's so much. I always have started giving this book out as a recommendation to read because my senior year in college, we got a list of books that we were required to read for our senior seminar. And it was from an outside teacher. We looked at the list. This one book looked really silly, and it has an awful cover because it looks like a Monopoly board. It's called Making It on Broadway. And we all put it off because we thought it would be useless. However, it's the best book that I've ever read on making it on Broadway. It's a compilation of stories, little anecdotes from people who have made it in New York and beyond, in every section of life, in training, in moving to New York, in getting your first apartment, in getting your first Broadway show, in auditioning. It's an amazing resource. It's like listening to me, but listening to all the famous people talk about their entire time. So it's an amazing book, Making It on Broadway, and it looks really silly. Also, from graduating high school, I would say to a lot of people, if you're going into a college program, find a place that you feel like will challenge you and also really respect who you are and not want to change you. Because I felt when you get into an audition room, there are going to be a million people who are talented. That's not the issue. There are going to be people who are talented than you that are coming to this audition. That's going to happen. But people are looking for a certain type of energy and personality, what you bring to it, and that's what's going to help click along with your talent. And I think some schools try to make you into a cookie cutter or try to change your quirks, but find a place that will celebrate your quirks and remind you that that is what makes you exciting in the room and exciting in life. There was one last thing I always say. When you're in college, work during the summer. Find different places to work during summer. Don't work always the same place, because meeting new people and having new experiences in the safe space of college when you're out in the professional world in those summers I think it was the most useful part of my education. Really getting to go somewhere and work with these people that I've idolized forever, but I still get to go back to school and then work on what I've learned.
Yeah. I think that's so funny because in all these AMAs, it seems like the 7 degrees, everybody's connected. And so I think that's wonderful advice. Chris, my husband, and I were watching a TV show the other day, and he's like, I did a summer stock show with her. But that's the thing. You just never know. These people just randomly pop up again. And so I love that. How did you, how was the audition process for school, for university? Because I know we have a lot of people that are heading in that way. Super stressful.
That is the hardest audition of your life. It's worse than because when you're auditioning for shows, there are always going to be more shows. But for college, it feels like I have to get it right now. I have to get one of these schools. This is my entire training. So it feels more existential. And it was really tricky. I somehow put, I don't know if it was less or more pressure on myself, but I decided when I was 18, I was unsure. I was like, this is a crazy career to go into. It's so hard. It's so competitive. And I said, if I don't get into a school that I think will definitely prepare me for this career, then I shouldn't do it. And I don't think that's the way everyone should go. It's the way that my type A brain went. Mm-hmm. And so I said, if I don't get into these specific schools that I'm auditioning for, I really narrowed it down. I was going to go into engineering. So I was like, let the world decide what I should do. Yeah. Let these auditions. So I auditioned for 3 schools. And 2 of them did not accept me. Oh. And that is very normal. Oh, some people audition for 20 schools. Some audition, it's all over the map. But I would say do what is right for you. I used it as a time to kind of solidify that it was right for me, that if I got in one, and I got into the place that was correct for me. They loved me for my quirks, just like I said earlier.
Yeah, they just kind of let it just. Do you remember what song you sang for Elon?
Oh my gosh, I do. One of them, which I don't think was a great choice. I sang "Strangers in Paradise" from Kismet, which I think I did an okay job with. And then I also sang, I think I sang "On the Streets of Dublin" from A Man of No Importance, which was a good song for me. So I think that helped me more than the other.
Yeah. They're like, all right, we'll give them a chance.
Exactly.
All right, Luz Gillespie. Hi, Anita. Matt provided me with some of the most unforgettable experiences of standing on the Schubert stage. Oh, thank you, Matt, for that. Love you, miss you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite things. I remember before I got to be on Broadway or in the professional theater world, the most exciting idea was getting on a Broadway stage or seeing behind the scenes. And now getting to take people backstage, especially younger kids that come up, I love getting to show them what is actually happening back there, because it's so easy for me, but it seems so intangible for anybody else. And so it's like a special little easy gift I can give for 15 minutes after the show.
It's magical. And I don't know if it becomes like, it's just like everything else. It's your daily life, so you forget, and then you just kind of get to watch somebody else experience for a brief moment, and that magic is awesome. So
yes.
I've only gotten to do that once, and it was Radio City Music Hall for their Christmas spectacular, and we got to go meet all the animals, and it was just amazing. It was so good.
Crazy. I've never done that. I'm jealous.
No? Well, there you go. Willem also recommends that book. Willem was I don't know if you heard, Willem was on our AMA. He was awesome a couple days ago. And Elon, look at that. It's Elon week. I love that. And he also recommends that book because you recommended it to him. So what was the book called? I'm going to look it up while we improve.
Yes. It's called Making It on Broadway, and I have it pulled up right here. It has a subtitle name, Actors' Tales of Climbing It to the Top, or Climbing to the Top. It's invaluable. And it's also something I gave to each of my family members to read so they would understand what I was going to be going through, so they wouldn't assume that like, oh, why didn't you go get that commercial? You know, ask questions so they could understand my life. Yeah.
That's smart. That's smart. Well, your family is just so supportive. You have like the perfect, brilliant, supportive family.
I lucked out. So did Willem.
Yes, and that's what I told him the other day. I was like, oh man, you guys just have such incredible families and so supportive. It's so important. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Beth wants to know, what was your first ever show? Ooh, good.
Ever. I was 6 years old, I think, or 5. I think I was 6. And my sister and I were in Grissom High School's production of Annie Get Your Gun as the little babies in the back.
Cute. That's funny. And I know you did a few others from there. With us, I know you did Aladdin.
Yes.
Did you do
Cinderella?
And Cinderella, yes.
With the whole family. All 4 of us.
You get those family experiences.
100%.
So amazing. All right. Let's see. They're rolling in. Darcy wants to know, what is your favorite memory from Matilda, and what is your favorite funny or mistake moment? Oh yes, those are good.
There are just so many to choose from, you know? Mistakes are so easy to come by. I can mix those up and give you my favorite mistake. Actually, there were 2 huge mistakes I made in Matilda. I was there for 14 months. I made tons of mistakes. Matilda was amazing. It was like the first time I got to do that. It's such an iconic location, just like Anita mentioned. It was actually where I saw my first Broadway show too. So then I was in my first Broadway show on the same stage. It was very cool. Really circle moment. So silly moments. There was one time it's this crazy number called Loud, where I had to be a guest judge at a dancing competition with like crazy Hunger Games type hair, so a wig. And I had a big score paddle with a 10 on it to score. And we were moving these tables around the stage, which had locks because the stage itself is slanted towards the audience, which is called a rake, and it's awful. So that's number one to know. And number two, the choreographer of Matilda was seeing me in the show for the first time ever. I was months into the job because they live in the UK. So they had come over to see the show to give some notes. During that number, I was really serious about hitting all my positions, and the paddle flew out of my hand across the stage, and then my wig fell off behind me. So I'm bald, basically. And then I decide to go try to get the wig, but it's also when I was supposed to move the table. So the other table collided. It was the worst moment I've ever had on stage. On Broadway. That was on Broadway. Of course, the audience doesn't notice because they're watching the people in the front during that time. Thank goodness. But things like that happen all the time. So many falls. I mean, I can't even count how many times I've fallen on a stage.
Jeez. Well, and I know we said because even for what Holiday Inn, you were assistant dance captain. Is that what? Yeah. So that's pretty huge. What is that like to be a performer and have that responsibility too?
Right. I got to be assistant dance captain for Tuck Everlasting. And sadly, because it was so never-lasting, I didn't get to fully do my job as much, but I was also a swing for Tuck Everlasting, which was the craziest job ever. They're the most talented people in the business because swings are people who know every ensemble job, so much so that if someone gets hurt in the middle of a performance, that person in the dressing room can just jump into a costume and go and know where they're supposed to be in the specific role the entire time. So I definitely got to do that, and I love getting to be I loved getting to be an assistant dance captain because I got to really hone my ability to watch dance numbers and see all the specifics in real time, and really help shape the number a bit. I didn't get to do much of it, so it was just a really exciting job to have. To have someone, a huge choreographer, place their trust in me was amazing.
But what a cool experience. And Holiday Inn, that was, how long did that one last?
That one was a limited run, and it was six months. Yeah.
But I own 2 of the DVDs, so in case anybody needs it.
You do? That's amazing.
Bless my dad's heart. I mentioned that I wanted 1 copy for mom and 1 copy for our household, and so he went out to like every Walmart and searched until he found them, and he snapped up a few. Yeah.
I don't think I knew they were even out there. I knew they were streamed live every once in a while on PBS, but that's so neat. Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
I love that. Let's see. Chris Cotta says, thank you for sharing your time with us. Oh, sorry, y'all. I have no glasses on. Do you have a silly story or moment with something that went terribly wrong? We kind of covered that. But we also didn't mention, do you have a favorite memory from Matilda? I know Darcy also asked that.
Right.
Or was that the whole
That's definitely not my favorite memory from Matilda. I have to, I don't want to be cliche. I do think my opening night, so my first night being on Broadway, was really, really special for a couple of reasons. Because it was in the theater where I first saw a Broadway show, but my cast was really, really supportive. And they really held me up. And there was that very day, we were filming a segment for the Thanksgiving Day parade, and right before the show. And we had like a mock audience so they could cheer. And my mom and my sister, or I think it might have been my whole family, got in town just in time to race from the airport and even be in that audience for the Thanksgiving Day parade performance. Which was really cool that they got to see that. And then my opening night, and tons of my friends came. And also that night we were giving a curtain call speech, our Mrs. Trunchbull, who is a huge Broadway star, Christopher Siebert, and he took the time, and this is not normal, to stop the speech and to have me come forward and say, this is Matt's first night on Broadway. And it was really, really special. I was sweating so much though, so I looked crazy.
I look so great. All the tears, it's fine.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And you say that, I forgot that you had done Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. How cold is that? Like, what is that experience like?
Frigid. I mean, luckily the only time I did it live outside in the parade was Holiday Inn, and we were wearing winter clothes. So we were so lucky, but you are dancing on concrete, and we were tapping on concrete. And I know in the rehearsal, my tap completely flew off. So we had to kind of work around that.
Cool. No problem. That's awesome. Karen says, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and recording a segment for Rocket City's Got Talent. Yes, I've already told Matt that he made me cry watching the video. So he is also another one of those awesome voices you'll get to hear next Saturday. Do you have a favorite fantasy memory? I know I asked you this in our Q&A earlier.
Yes.
But I don't put it out there.
You know, I mean, I loved Cinderella because my whole family was in it. So it was my whole family's been in 3 shows together in Huntsville, and they've all been amazing experiences because I got to do the whole thing with them. And so Cinderella for that. My mom was amazing in that as the fairy godmother. Also in Aladdin, it was just such a weird, cool experience. There was this group we were soldiers, 4 or 5 of us, and we somehow, I think they changed it for us, that we became some kind of a cappella boy group, and they added a number somewhere that we helped create. I don't know. It was very, very fun and free experience.
Yeah. That's really neat. Being in a show with your whole family is just a unique, awesome experience. My dad and my older brother did a lot of like the backstage and the tech, but then my other brother, Justin, mom, and I all did a lot on stage, but we did one show together, and it was Charlotte's Web.
I remember that.
Yeah, oh my gosh, my dad was a guest judge with Tom Voight and some of the other awesome, and they just walked across, and we never knew what they were going to say because they were just ad-libbing lines. But it was so fun. That's an awesome memory for sure, getting to do that. Let's see. Anita said, I also have to thank you for joining us at Juniors after the show with the Broadway Theater League gang. Oh, that's fun. Got to go have lunch or dinner with the Broadway Theater group.
And with my first ever ballet teacher from Huntsville, David Harriet, who started teaching me ballet when I was 6 or 7, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was very
amazing. Cool. Yeah. So you've been dancing. I know dance is sometimes people call them the triple threat, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not so good with the third part." But you're pretty good with the dancing. Obviously, you started young, though. It sounds like.
I definitely started young. Once again, that supportive family. My dad put me in dance. He knew David Harriet growing up in high school, and was always so impressed and amazed that a boy could go do ballet and also not be caught. Was so confident while other people might make fun of him. So he put me into dance, and then I took tap. And then I became one of those people in 5th grade when I was made fun of once and I quit dancing. So then I kind of picked it up a few years later, but it's one of those things that, boys still can be made fun of in dance, and sometimes that can really push them away from it. But once again, had that great family and started off strong. And it's really become one of my main, I don't want to call it secret ways to get into a job, but I can sing well, but I can also dance well. So if I go to a dance audition, let's say, if I can get through that first dance cut, then it's me and a lot of dancers. And then once I sing, it's like, oh, I cinched the job. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was one of the ways that I've really found success.
Yeah.
Having that dance training.
Smart. John wants to know, can you talk about your MUNY experience some?
Yes, MUNY was one of my favorite. Well, God, they were all so great. But I worked at MUNY between my junior and senior year in college, and it was where I got my union card, actually. It's this crazy theater in St. Louis that has, I'm gonna get this wrong, it's either 12,000 or 13,000 seats outdoors. It's humongous, it's hot, and they put up a show every week. So it only runs for 1 week, 7 shows, because it can only happen once a day, once the sun goes down.
Right.
And I did 2 shows there back to back. So you have, I think it's 10 days to rehearse, and then you do the show for 7 days. And then you go right back into like 10 days to rehearse the next show, and then you perform it for 7 days. And it was amazing. And I worked with the craziest people. Going back to Pippin, if you ever watched the video of Pippin with Ben Vereen and all that, the woman who plays Catherine, who Juliana played at Lee, she was in one of the shows with me. And I was just blown away. I was like, I watched you obsessively in high school in this DVD. So you meet really cool people. MUNY has incredible talent. So it was a big learning experience.
That was a crazy experience. Do you remember what 2 shows? Which 2 you did?
Yes, I did Singing in the Rain and Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, all right.
And then also I went back to the MUNY a few years later to do one more show. I did 42nd Street there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Once
again, tapping on concrete.
Yeah. That'll make your muscles feel your muscles. Darcy says from Erin, her daughter, if you had to choose 1 or 2 styles of dance to focus on because of school and time commitments, what styles would you tell a student to focus on?
That is a great question, because right now, especially in the past 10, 15 years, Broadway has thankfully become such an amalgamation of styles of everything, and the amount of talent has no bounds. They're going to ask you to do everything, to play an instrument and to, I don't know, tap at the same time. So there is no wrong choice. I would say ballet, as annoying as it sounds, and as much as I sometimes hated being there, is really the foundation of everything. But then along with that, find something else where you can really learn to pick up a style. Tap is always great. It's always going to be something fun and work on your rhythm, but also some type of jazzy class where you can learn how to really fit the style of whoever's teaching you. That's really important in auditions, because you'll be taught something you've never done and you have to pick it up right then and there.
That's awesome. All right. Teresa asked, did you ever get to go on as any of the leads in Tuck Everlasting?
So I was a swing, and I also covered 2 of the principal roles, which was so exciting. And because it was 5 weeks, no one ever called out. I think, yeah, no principals ever called out except for the villain. He had to go shoot a Netflix show. But, you know, just a Netflix show. Yeah. So I never got to go on. However, the coolest memory from that is there's this huge song where there's a tree on stage. It takes up the whole stage. And this huge branch is up here the whole show. And during one song, 2 characters get to climb the tree, and the branch lowers and they climb out onto the branch. So they're kind of just on this tiny platform above the stage singing the song. Top of the World. Willem sang it in his competition recently. And that was one of my audition songs for it, because they made me learn it in one night, which was crazy. There were no recordings of it. But I got to tech through it. So I got to perform it on the stage, on the tree, but just no audience there, you know? Wow. So it was amazing.
So you got to do it. Being a student to me is like mind blowing.
Completely.
To have, especially for like a Broadway show like that, I can't even imagine what brain power that would take to remember everything.
Lots of iPad drawings.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Cool. All right. Laura Dale. Hi, Laura Dale says, hi, Matt. The Priest family says hello. Hey.
Beth.
David Miller says 2 questions. If you haven't already answered, what is your favorite Broadway play?
Hmm. Okay.
That's the first one.
Yeah,
Favorite
it's a great question. I have always held it was going to be revived this year, and then COVID-19 happened, so I still haven't seen it, and I'm really sad. But I love it's very random, but Caroline or Change is I think my favorite musical. Then Light in the Piazza, then something like Into the Woods
Yeah.
ish. You know, there are a lot of great ones out there. I kind of go that route, like the Pippin route, a little off kilter.
Speaking of revivals, did you get to see the revival of Pippin? I know we've talked about Pippin a bit. That
I
happened?
did. I did. It was such a different take and it was so
Oh,
exciting.
yeah, we saw it. It came through Orlando, and my friend had an extra ticket, so I got to magically go. And I was just like, it was really neat to see, because the only other one I'd ever seen was the one that you guys did at Lee, and then this one, and it was mind blowing, both of them.
Yes,
So
using that circus.
yes, it was really neat. The second question from David is, what is the best way to prepare yourself to watch a play? Should you look into the basic idea of the story or go totally blind, ready to go along for the ride? Ooh, interesting.
It's a great story. My family debates that all the time.
Yeah, we have this discussion too in our household.
Right, because there are some that it will really help you to have, a basis in it going in. But I do love for the past few years, I've been obsessed with getting to see as much theater as I can in New York because things close so quickly. So I really want to soak it up. And that way, if they're that new, I really don't know anything about them. And I would say 90% of the time, I love them straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 10% of the time, I have to take a moment and I go back. So I really think it depends. If it's really new and really away from the norms, you might want some basis so that you can sit there and soak it in. However, I've always learned the first 10 minutes of a musical or a play, it's set up so that you see all the conditions that you're going to expect for the rest of the play so that you're not surprised later, so that the first 10 minutes will always kind of take you back and you realize, oh, okay, so we're going to sing now. Okay, so we're allowed to speak to the audience. Oh, okay, so they have to do it all in the first 10 minutes so that because then if they do something they haven't done later on, it's really going to confuse you. So that first 10 minutes is so important to not push away from it, but really say, okay, that's where we are. Really sink into what they're trying to do in those first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, like you said, I think it just depends on what it is. Because I know that some of them, it's just really, how often do you just get to go into something and experience something brand new without knowing anything and just take it all in? I know that, gosh, it was 5 or 6 years ago, we went to New York and we ended up magically getting standing room tickets only for once. I knew nothing about the show. It was standing room only. I was like, this is going to be terrible. I don't want to stand for an entire show. I don't know anything about. And I was just in tears the whole time. So,
yes.
So it just really depends. I think that's absolutely, absolutely true. That's a great question, David.
And I will say there are, in a less artistic sense, I suppose, there are shows like, I will say Matilda, where everything is in a British accent, and there are a ton of kids with very important lines and songs with very fast words. And I can't tell you the amount of work that went in with coaches with these kids, making them really bite those consonants. But no matter what, when you walk in, you're being barraged by a different accent from kids with a ton of words flowing at you. And it's sometimes hard to get used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know there's a lot of people that the Hamilton craze, and people are like, oh no, it's actually helpful to kind of listen to be able to understand because it moves so quickly.
Right.
So I think it just depends. But yeah, awesome question. Gail, hi Gail, all these wonderful people. So lovely to have you here with us going way back. Is there something from Ragtime or Pippin that has really stayed with you? Ooh.
Great question. Both of those experiences were amazing and got to do Ragtime twice. Love Gail. And what did I feel like for some reason, I guess I had been in principal roles before, kind of in my life, but Ragtime and Pippin were times where I really I felt like I was grown up enough to actually take advantage of that and take hold of a stage and figure out how to play with an audience and how to trust an audience. So I think those gave me more confidence and more experience as an adult. I know I was 17 or 18, but I finally had like a kind of grown up brain to do that with, rather than, being young Patrick in Maine when I'm in 5th grade, when I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm walking to that spot because I was told to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Juliana's on, says Pippin was the best. Yeah, it was. Hi, Juliana. Let's see. Oh, Renee, in response to what we were talking about, that first 10 minutes says, be on time. You're right. Make sure you're on.
You better be on time. Absolutely. I know it's hard in New York, but you gotta
be
there early. Yeah.
Yes. Karen, hi Karen, has been following the career. I remember Jessica doing choreography with you early on. Yeah. Good old Jessica's, we still rope her when we can. Hi, Jessica.
She helped me.
Darcy wants to know best and worst parts about
Audition.
Oh, really? Oh, awesome. See?
Yeah.
Darcy wants to know best and worst part about living in New York City, especially as a young actor. Yeah.
Great. Lots of answers for that. I say I always say that New York City, really, when you're in a good mood, it makes it even better. Being there, it really pumps you up like one of those, music scenes in a movie. You just feel on top of the world. But when you're in a bad mood, it makes it even worse. So New York City makes everything extreme, and you have to find a way to understand that, enjoy the high times, but also know that when it feels awful, it might not be as bad as it seems. Some people have said after auditions, I know this is not specifically about living there, but you can be mad about it as you go, once you get a no or something, going down into the subway to get home, you can stew about it. But once you walk up out of the subway, you leave those negative feelings down underground. And that's one like therapeutic way to get through hearing no all the time in New York City. But also obviously finding roommates and stuff, you just get better at. You're finding good apartments, you get better at. Growing up is just so helpful.
Yeah, I like that. That's really good. I like that. Just leave it underground.
Yeah.
Laura Dale. Oh, she was in Maine with you. Oh, you did Maine too. Look at that.
Yes.
Really like fun shows that you don't see a lot anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, really, Huntsville gave me so many exciting opportunities, along with whenever something toured through, my family would volunteer to usher so we could see everything that toured through. And that was one of my favorite things.
Yeah, yes, I love that. Let's see. Oh, Imp is on. Independent says, Vivian and I are watching. Miss you. Hi. That's so funny.
Hi, Vivian. Love you, miss you.
Anita says, what are you doing right now during this quarantine time? Yeah. You're a book reader. How many books have you read this year? I know I followed that on your...
Something like 15. I feel like I've slowed down during quarantine because my mind just isn't ready to focus, It's kind of racing because my body's sitting still, so my mind is racing.
Oh, isn't that interesting? That is really funny. How, let's see, what else we got here? But you are doing a lot of other things. I think we kind of mentioned that. Coding.
Right. Yes, picking up random things to keep my mind busy,
That's the way to go.
Because I don't know if everybody knows, but Broadway has definitely said January 3rd is the earliest we will be back. And the reality is our industry is one of the last because it's all about getting people in seats.
It's so hard. We just announced that we're not going to have any person stuff until spring as well. So it's just a tricky time. Everybody, remember your arts and your performers and your artists, and because it's a time. It's a time right now. We're having a time. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Beth found it. I was going to ask her to find it just for reference.
No.
First question. I think you're in an episode. Oh, amazing. Well, we're all going to go watch that now as soon as we're done.
Watch Leslie be crazy backstage. Yeah, I've gotten to work with such fun people. I mean, I know just like in Huntsville with Megan and Chris and everybody, you know, that's one of the best parts of the show. Yeah, stepping out on stage and feeling the audience's energy and everything is one thing, but also having that supportive group backstage. And I feel like it goes with, if any high schoolers or college kids are watching, another thing that I forgot to say is, sounds cliche, but I've also learned this from Vivian and from Deb Fleischman growing up. The reality is that you have to learn to be nice and to get along with people because, and it's more important than you think, because like Megan said, 7 degrees of separation, it's more like 3. Everybody knows everybody in this business. It's so small because we all work together. And when people are casting shows or choosing who they're going to represent, they will check with people you've worked with and ask what it's like working with you. Yeah. And if they get like an or a no, they're not great to work with, but they're very talented, your talent level won't matter. These people have to work with you 24/7 for who knows how long. And I've even been asked about people in the past. I mean, it's a real thing. So if at least for your career, be nice.
Yeah, be nice. Life lessons with Matt Meigs. It's true.
Yes. Kathy McNeela, the head of my music theater program in college.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Awesome.
Hi, Kathy. She's the one who taught me that. So
well, there you go.
All my teachers.
I love this. This is great. We have people from everywhere coming in. Look at all this love. Kathy.
She's the, oh, sorry.
Okay, she what?
Yeah, she's the one who, you know, accepted me into that one college program that took me. So she got me here.
Smart man. Good job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. She asked where to go. How do you keep your heart safe with all the stress? Oh, yes. It's true.
By having, one part is by having an amazing group of people around you who you trust and who you can escape with, knowing how to decompress, having like a small hobby on the side maybe, but really just, yeah, that's hard because I don't think I've figured that out, you know? There's still moments when it gets to you, right? We're in that moment now maybe. But yeah, making sure that you enjoy what you're doing and having those people around you, which sometimes when you go to college, that's where you find that that core group that just understands you.
Yeah, it's helpful. It is a good way. Well, let's see, Jerry. Hi, Jerry. He also agreed with your light in the piazza earlier, by the way. He says, yes, he says that to his students all the time. Absolutely. Kathy says, you're the king of nice. That's true. It's your family. It's that whole family. Your family's just...
They're the best.
They're the best. They're amazing. Let's see. All right. Well, we have almost hit 50 minutes. I told you these go really fast. I could keep going forever. So, hi, Marianne. Oh, they're just going to keep going in. I could keep going forever.
Too sweet.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It has been so great to see so many of the different community theater family members from LMP and independent musicals and just everyone from across the community. And we just love you and we support you. And hopefully you'll get to tour through Huntsville and I guarantee you will pack it out. So
that would be a dream.
Oh, one last question from Darcy. Do you play an instrument? Oh yeah, that's a good question.
No, I don't. Not really, but I have. There are still times where you're asked. I was in a reading where we all had to play an instrument, and so they gave me the washboard.
Well, sure.
Why not? You know?
That sounds like one of those really fun things that you could put on your resume later. Like, a washboard. It's a skill.
Yeah, absolutely. The kazoo.
The kazoo. I do those things. Absolutely. Oh, my gosh. All right. So much love pouring in. We heart you. Keep up the good things. And we look forward to your return in January. Knock on wood. Everybody stay safe. Yes. And we'll see you back soon. Thank you, Matt.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay.